we're gonna, for time's sake, we're gonna just review 9 events, but it's so cool because we're gonna review the 9 events from 2016, and we're gonna look at how some of them carried into 2017. They didn't get completed. They did not get completed, and then what ended up happening was we're dealing with them to this day in 2025, and if they don't get addressed this year, we're gonna be going through them in the next 9 years too. So this is what we're looking at here. So I thought that was pretty cool. So let me pull it back big up on the screen so we can read through some of them. Actually, let me, you know what? I can keep it little because I want to stay up here with you guys. And I'll read it off, okay? Because I want to stay up here with you guys. So let me just grab this other screen and then I can read it off for you guys. All right. So in 2016, first of all, Trump became the president in 2016. Do you guys remember that? You remember the US presidential election took place in 2016. Um, so, and that really set the tone. That set the tone for that year and just really up to now. It set the whole tone. We're still dealing with him now. So he took office in that year. Um, and also, Hillary was the first female nominee in that year. So that kind of led the way for Kamala to be able to run this this previous year, you know. So that's interesting. That's interesting. You see how see we're going to see how this unfolds. Um, Number two, AI was just really kicking off in 2016. The augmented reality was just getting on smartphones. Self-driving cars had just hit the road in 2016. SpaceX had invented a reusable rocket. And you know, SpaceX is Elon Musk's company, and that's huge because look at the role that he's playing right now in 2025 with Trump and with the election and all this kind of stuff. So you know, it really comes full circle, and all the stuff that he's trying to do to get into space still. So he started this, you know, way back then. You know, probably before then, but this is when they invented those reusable rockets, and now look at where they are today, right? So this is what we want to look at. And then so Google invented the not invented, but they came out with the VR. They came out with the virtual reality headsets in 2016. And then the DNA lab was brought to the lab desktop. Now look at DNA today. DNA is a global business today, right? So this is what we got to look at. All right. So number three, the Russian hacking happened in 2016. Remember that was with the Russians hacking. They said the Russians were hacking the Democratic National Committee before the convention. Um, so all of that was going on with Russia back then. The leaked emails and all that kind of stuff. All that was going on. And then also that year, the Russian ambassador to Turkey was assassinated. And that happened on December 19th, right at the end of that year, showing us that that was during that preview cycle of that next year. And we're still dealing with stuff with Russia today. They're at war with Ukraine. We're almost on the verge of going to war with them because of the current climate of our political system of us, you know, backing Ukraine in the war and all that kind of stuff. You know, America's always getting in the wars and stuff that they really don't have nothing to do with, other than whatever vested interests that they have that they're not sharing with us, which are many. So we do know that. But again, I just thought that December 19th was interesting because the 19 is a karmic number. So that's like something was owed that didn't get paid in the previous life or something like that. So that's interesting to me that you know that happens. Anyway, so on with the next one, number four. Jerusalem. Why can't I say it? Jerusalem, in Palestine. Of course, that's always kind of been going on since they made Israel a state there back in 1947 ish. So that's always been going on, but like during that time, there was like a big major attack during that time in 2016 there that was really, it made worldwide news. So, you know, we still see that when we get to the next slide, we're going to see that we're still dealing with that to this day with the war that was going on over there. And then even another interesting turn, we'll look at what Trump did in the year 2017 to really push that, you know, to kind of like tip the scales in that, if you will. And then number five, Brexit happened. You guys remember Brexit? Remember when Great Britain, when they left the European Union? Do you guys remember that? It was a huge thing. It was the first time ever, a shocking vote. At the United Kingdom, they left the European Union, and that's when that started in that 2016 year, and we'll see that how that carried over into the next year and how that still has a availing to today. Flint, Michigan water crisis happened in 2016. I wanted to make sure I brought that one up. And we know that that was actually government officials that changed the water system to the river in Flint, which just then poisoned the whole, city thereafter, killing a lot of our children and our family members and different things like that. And just making people sick and, genocide. This is genocide that happens. Um, that one, I don't have a correlation, but I wanted to bring that one up to make sure that people are aware, this is the stuff that went on in that year. Number 7, a police shooting was caught on tape. So guys, remember when the cops. So this was the year that that really started getting prevalent. That their stuff was getting caught on tape because they've been killing us and stuff like that and traffic stops. But this is the first years that it's really been being caught on tape and the tapes being out there. In 2016. And that year, it was Alton Sterling. He was killed in Baton Rouge after an altercation with officers outside of a liquor store. And that very next day, Philando Castile was shot 7 times in his car. And that was in Minnesota after a police officer pulled him over for a busted tail light. So he got killed for a busted tail light. His girlfriend was in the car, and their 4-year-old daughter was in the car. And that one got broadcast on Facebook Live. And I know you guys remember that.